In this short video, I want to talk a little bit about the mental game approach to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, I realize when you start doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there's so much going on, it can be quite frustrating. And so some of my advice might seem counterintuitive, and I'm not going to say that it's easy to put into play. The one thing I will suggest is that part of this program, and when you purchase this program, you got a free copy, an ebook version of my book called Full Contact Living. I suggest that you go through that book. A lot of the things that I talk about briefly here is highlighted there in depth, and I do believe that the stuff that I covered in the book is really going to help you not only in your jiu-jitsu game, but equally in life. And that's one of the things that I really love about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and training, the way that we do in a live environment, is that a lot of the things that you overcome and that you learn about yourself can be applied off the mat into the world. Now, the thing that I normally kind of talk to my own students about, especially in the beginning, is that, the couple of things that I feel are very important. The quicker you can learn to relax and not be stressed out and tensed in your role, the quicker you're going to learn. Now, I wish somebody had told me that in the beginning, because that would have made a big difference in my game. If I had just, spent more time just relaxing, not being stressed out and tense all the time, I really feel I probably would have got better a lot quicker. So that's one key advice that I think is paramount. Second of all is to enjoy the experience and to take risk. Now, that's sometimes very difficult to do, because depending on where you train, right? If you're training in a super hyper competitive environment where taking risks might mean that you really get injured, then you're not going to. So I always suggest, try to find people to train with that are not in that kind of meathead mentality, that will allow you to take risk. And if you mess up, and you're not going to pay the ultimate price by getting your arm blown off or something like that, right? So taking risk is super important, and I didn't do that in the beginning. I was so fixated on getting everything right that I never played any kind of creative, innovative game. And that kind of held me back for a while, because although, yes, I was fixated on getting everything right, I missed a lot of the opportunities and things that I could have taken had I been in more of a playful mindset, had I been more in a risk-taking kind of mindset where I was able to take risks. But because, Jiu-Jitsu was completely new in South Africa back then, and there were almost nowhere where you can go and train, I really had my ego in the way, and that wasn't a good thing. So that's another thing that I would suggest that I think is key. Jiu-Jitsu is something that takes time. It takes time for you to get in touch with your body, to trust your body, and that's really what you want to do. You listen to people like Jean-Jacques Machado and even Hickson Gracie, where they talk about, if there's any advice that I could give people, feel more than you think. This is important, and the only way to feel more in Jiu-Jitsu than think is to get your thinking mind out of the way and allow your body just to do its thing. That's easier said than done. And one of the biggest things that gets in the way of that is expectations. Having these expectations that you want to achieve certain outcomes, certain goals. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be wanting to achieve certain outcomes, but I'm going to suggest that when you're actually in a role, in a live role, that's not the time to be thinking like that. You really want to just be free and open to the experience in the present moment and allow whatever to come out to come out. One of the things I also say to my students is that there is no such thing as a bad position. There's only positions that give you an opportunity to learn. Now, a lot of times when you go in, you want to be on top. That's great, but that doesn't always work out that way. You're going to find yourself on the bottom. In actual fact, if you're new to Jiu-Jitsu, you're going to find yourself on the bottom a lot. Trust me, I know, I've been there, right? Rather than seeing being on the bottom as a bad thing, like somehow you screwed up and you messed up, start seeing it as an opportunity to develop that part of your game, as an opportunity to troubleshoot, to play the chess game, right? If you approach it from there, just change the mindset a little bit, that can be massive in just upping your game and making you a whole lot better. I would also suggest that, part of the mental game is actually making sure that you don't just come into the gym and just start training. Make sure that you take enough time to warm up adequately, that you feel warm and ready for the role. I can tell you that I made that mistake. I would just get on the mat without warming up properly, without kind of just, getting into my body first. And then it would take quite a while just to get into the role. And so I found that if you take the time just to set aside 5 or 10 minutes before you even get on the mat, warm up properly, feel warm, just feel that you're in touch with your body, and then get on the mat, that makes a huge difference in the role experience. Finally, it's a journey, like I said. It takes a while to really get this. I know that it's frustrating. but I'm going to tell you that it's worthwhile in the end. Make sure you read my book. You've got a copy of the book as part of this program, Full Contact Living. You're going to find a lot of valuable information in there about, quote unquote, developing the mental game. I think it's going to help you out a lot in your jiu-jitsu game, and most importantly, have fun.